People think they understand Gemini. They think Gemini is simply talkative, playful, unpredictable, social, and always changing their mind. They see the laughter. They hear the quick replies. They notice the charm, the humor, the intelligence, and the way Gemini can light up a room in seconds, but what they do not see is the secret side, the side that feels everything deeply but rarely shows it in a simple way. The side that can smile in front of people while overthinking every word that was said. The side that wants connection, but also fears being trapped. The side that can be surrounded by people and still feel strangely alone, and this is where the mystery begins, because Gemini is not two-faced the way people accuse them of being. Gemini is layered. Gemini is complex. Gemini is a storm of thoughts, emotions, questions, dreams, fears, and hidden truths all moving at the same time, and by the end of this video, you may finally understand why Gemini acts strong, why they disappear, why they change so quickly, and why nobody truly understands the secret world inside them. The first secret about Gemini is that their mind never truly stops. Even when Gemini looks relaxed, their thoughts are running in the background. They are observing the room, reading people's energy, remembering small details, comparing words with actions, and trying to understand what is really happening beneath the surface. This is why Gemini can seem distracted one moment and deeply focused the next. Their mind is not empty. It is full. Sometimes too full. People often say Gemini changes too quickly. But what they do not understand is that Gemini is constantly receiving new information. Every conversation, every facial expression, every silence, every shift in tone gives them something new to think about. So when Gemini changes their opinion, it is not always because they are unstable. Many times, it is because they have processed something new. They are not just reacting. They are calculating, questioning, and adjusting, but here is the part most people miss. Gemini does not always explain this process. They may suddenly become quiet. They may suddenly lose interest. They may suddenly change direction. And because others cannot see the thoughts happening inside, they assume Gemini is careless, but Gemini is not careless. Gemini is mentally overloaded. One of the most misunderstood things about Gemini is their ability to laugh while hurting. Gemini can be going through emotional chaos and still make others laugh. They can feel broken inside and still send a funny message. They can be disappointed, anxious, or deeply confused, but instead of showing the pain directly, they often cover it with humor. This is not fake happiness. This is protection. Gemini often uses humor as a shield because they do not want to make their pain too obvious. They fear being seen as weak. They fear being too much. They fear that if they open the door to their real emotions, people may not know how to handle them, so they joke, they change the subject. They act like everything is fine, and because they are so good at hiding what they feel, people believe they are unaffected, but deep inside, Gemini remembers everything, the message that felt cold. The promise that was broken. The friend who changed. The person who slowly became distant. Gemini may act like they moved on, but their mind replays things more often than people realize, and that is the secret pain of Gemini. They can look free while carrying emotional weight nobody sees. There are moments when Gemini suddenly pulls away. They stop replying with the same energy. They become quiet. They seem distant. They disappear into their own world. People may think Gemini is being rude, careless, or dramatic. But often, Gemini disappears because their inner world has become too loud. They need space to breathe. They need silence after too many conversations. They need distance from emotional pressure. Gemini is social, yes. But Gemini also gets drained by too much emotional intensity. They can love people deeply and still need time away from everyone. They can enjoy attention and still feel exhausted by being constantly available. This is the contradiction nobody understands. Gemini wants connection, but they also need freedom. They want to be loved, but not controlled. They want to be understood, but not trapped in endless emotional explanations. So when Gemini disappears, it is not always because they do not care. Sometimes they care too much and do not know where to put all those thoughts and emotions, but there is a deeper reason too. Gemini disappears when they feel misunderstood for too long, when they feel like their words are twisted, their intentions are judged, or their energy is taken for granted. They slowly step back. Not always with a big argument. Not always with a dramatic goodbye. Sometimes Gemini leaves mentally before anyone notices. Gemini's secret fear is not being alone, their deeper fear is being misunderstood by people they care about. Gemini can handle distance. They can handle change. They can handle starting over. But what hurts them deeply is when someone sees only the surface and refuses to understand the truth beneath it. They hate being labeled too emotional one day, too cold the next, too talkative, too distant, too playful, too serious, too inconsistent, too complicated. But Gemini is not trying to confuse people. Gemini is trying to survive all the different versions of themselves. There is a version of Gemini that wants to be wild and free. Another version wants deep emotional safety. One version wants adventure. Another wants peace. One version wants to talk all night. Another wants to shut the world out, and Gemini often feels pressure to choose just one identity, but they cannot, because Gemini was never meant to be one simple thing. This is why the wrong people exhaust Gemini. They demand consistency in a way that feels like a cage. They want Gemini to be easy to define, easy to predict, easy to control, but Gemini's soul does not work that way. Gemini needs space to evolve. Many people think Gemini is only intellectual, logical, and mentally driven, but this is only half of the story. Gemini feels deeply, but their emotions often travel through their mind before reaching their words. Instead of simply saying, "I am hurt," Gemini may analyze why they are hurt. They may question whether they should be hurt. They may wonder if they are overreacting. They may replay the situation from every angle. By the time they speak, the emotion may come out as sarcasm, silence, jokes, or a sudden change in mood. This is why people sometimes miss Gemini's pain. They expect sadness to look obvious. But Gemini's sadness can look like distraction. Their anxiety can look like restlessness. Their heartbreak can look like humor. Their disappointment can look like distance. Gemini may not always cry in front of people, but they think deeply about what hurt them. They may not beg someone to stay, but they will remember who made them feel replaceable. They may not show jealousy loudly, but they notice when someone's energy changes. And when Gemini finally becomes quiet, it usually means they have felt too much for too long. Gemini is often called restless, but that restlessness has meaning. Gemini gets bored with anything that feels emotionally dead, mentally dull, or spiritually limiting. They need movement, not because they are careless, but because their mind needs stimulation. They need conversation, curiosity, learning, change, and new energy. A Gemini stuck in the wrong environment starts to fade. Their spark becomes smaller. Their humor becomes forced. Their energy becomes scattered. They may feel trapped without knowing how to explain it. This is why Gemini often searches for something more, a deeper conversation, a new idea, a different path, a person who makes them feel mentally alive. Gemini is not always running away from people. Sometimes Gemini is running toward a version of life that finally feels real, and this is where many people misunderstand them. They think Gemini leaves because they are bored easily, but sometimes Gemini leaves because the situation has stopped growing, and Gemini cannot stay in places where their soul feels asleep. In love, Gemini is often misunderstood. People may assume Gemini is not serious because they are playful, charming, and hard to pin down. But the truth is, when Gemini truly loves someone, they give that person access to their inner world, and that is rare. Gemini may talk to many people, but they do not open their real mind to everyone. They may laugh with many, but they do not show their vulnerable thoughts to just anyone. They may seem easygoing, but their deepest trust is difficult to earn. When Gemini loves you, they want mental connection first. They want someone who can talk with them about everything and nothing. Someone who can handle their changing moods without judging them. Someone who does not make them feel guilty for needing space. Someone who understands that freedom and loyalty can exist together. But if Gemini feels controlled, accused, or emotionally cornered, they may pull away, not because they stopped caring, but because love without freedom feels like pressure to them. Gemini wants a love that breathes, a love that allows them to be playful and deep, social and private, strong and vulnerable, serious and silly. They do not want to be placed in a box. They want to be loved in all their forms. Gemini's secret side is not only beautiful. It also has shadows. One shadow is overthinking. Gemini can create 10 possible meanings from one simple message. They can replay a conversation until it becomes heavier than it was. They can imagine outcomes before anything has happened. Their mind can become both their greatest gift and their biggest enemy. Another shadow is emotional avoidance. When feelings become too intense, Gemini may escape into distraction. They may scroll, talk, joke, work, move around, or act busy just to avoid sitting with what hurts. Another shadow is inconsistency. Gemini may genuinely feel one thing in the morning and another by night. Not because they are lying, but because their internal world shifts quickly. Their challenge is learning how to pause before reacting from every temporary emotion, but the deepest shadow is this: Gemini sometimes fears that if people saw all of them, they would leave, so Gemini shows pieces, a funny piece, a smart piece, a calm piece, a confident piece, but the messy, emotional, uncertain piece often stays hidden, and that hidden piece is the one that needs love the most. There is something magnetic about Gemini. It is not just their words. It is their energy. Gemini can make people feel seen. They can make conversations feel alive. They can turn ordinary moments into stories. They can shift the mood of a room without even trying. People are drawn to Gemini because Gemini carries movement. Their presence feels unpredictable, exciting, and mentally refreshing, but this magnetism also creates a problem. People often fall in love with Gemini's light, but not everyone can handle Gemini's depth. They enjoy the laughter but become uncomfortable with the complexity. They like the charm but struggle with the need for independence. They love Gemini's energy when it entertains them, but judge Gemini when that same energy needs space, and this is why Gemini becomes selective over time. They learn that not everyone who enjoys their presence deserves access to their heart. Gemini may be friendly with many, but emotionally close to very few, because deep down, Gemini knows that being liked is easy, being understood is rare. The Gemini nobody talks about is the one who gets tired of performing, the one who does not always want to be funny, the one who does not always want to explain, the one who sometimes wants someone to notice the silence behind their smile. This Gemini wants peace, not boring peace, but emotional peace. They want to stop defending their personality. They want to stop being called confusing every time they grow. They want to stop feeling like they must make everyone comfortable while hiding their own discomfort. The secret side of Gemini is softer than people think. Behind the quick mind is a sensitive heart. Behind the changing moods is a soul searching for balance. Behind the laughter is a person who has learned to survive by staying flexible. Gemini has been many versions of themselves because life has demanded it. And maybe that is not weakness, maybe that is wisdom. Gemini's true power is transformation. They can begin again. They can learn quickly. They can adapt to environments that would break others. They can communicate ideas, understand perspectives, and see life from multiple angles. This is why Gemini is not meant to live a small, predictable life. They are meant to explore, to question, to speak, to create, to connect, to evolve. But Gemini's greatest lesson is learning that they do not have to explain themselves to everyone. Some people will misunderstand them no matter how clearly they speak. Some people will call them inconsistent when they are simply growing. Some people will judge their need for space because they do not understand the weight of a mind that never stops moving. And Gemini must learn to stop shrinking for people who only love the easiest parts of them. The right people will not fear Gemini's complexity. They will appreciate it. They will understand that Gemini is not a problem to solve, but a universe to explore. So if you are a Gemini, remember this: you are not too much. You are not fake because you have different sides. You are not wrong for needing freedom. You are not cold because you need space. You are not confusing because you are still discovering yourself. The secret side of you is not something to hide forever. It is something to protect until the right people prove they can understand it. You are laughter and depth, light and storm, curiosity and wisdom, movement and emotion. and even when nobody understands the secret world inside you, that does not make your world any less real, it only means you are deeper than most people expected. If this video made you feel seen, comment "I understand Gemini" below. And if you want more Zodiac truth videos like this, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next sign's hidden truth, because the Zodiac always reveals more than people expect, and Gemini, your story is only beginning.